Hare Krishna, Jai. Hare Bol.
Dandavat Maharaj, missing you.
Yes. Gauranga. Where are you? Sadhu Gopal, where are you now?
We are now in Delhi, Maharaj. We are staying in Delhi for more 2 days. Then we are going back to Kolkata, then Navadvip.
Okay. Very nice.
We arrived today. We arrived today in Delhi. We are in today morning. We are in Vrindavan. We just came to Delhi.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. You are well? All your travels? Yes.
Yes, yes. Until now, everything well. Thanks to Lord Krishna and your mercy.
Yeah.
Maharaj, may I translate a message that Shamagoris asked me to tell you, because she's a little bit tired because it's late in India.
Okay.
So she could not stay here today with us.
My dandavats to her.
Yes, she writes to you, Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj. I'm missing you a lot. I'd like to share something with you. To me, India has been like a mother who teaches with the reality, austerities, and sometimes even some harshness. And you, Maharaj, you have been that mother that teaches about the virtue, sweetness, and beauty. I'm missing you a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing such qualities as yours anymore here in India. It's very difficult to find it here. My dandavats and missing you.
My affectionate dandavats to her also.
Yes.
Thank you. So how have you been, Nalini Devi?
Dandavats, Maharaj, Dandavats.
And Srimati Devi, are you well?
Yes, I'm fine. Olha que eu tenho uma florzinha para ele.
Oh, she has a flower to
Yeah.
offer.
Oh, Hare Krishna. And how is Tony?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh, what a beautiful, huge flower. Oh my goodness. I like a pie. What kind of flower is that? Hibiscus?
Aí eu não sei. Como é o nome?
I don't know.
It's a hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
It's a large
Oh,
hibiscus, yes.
yes. A giant hibiscus. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Beautiful.
Por favor, pergunta se está bem de saúde.
She's asking if your health is okay.
Yes, I'm okay. Go through my roller coaster with the diabetes, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Krishna still has some service for me to do, I guess. I'll be all right.
Eu estou bem. A minha diabetes às vezes fica como uma montanha russa, mas eu acredito que ainda Krishna tem algum serviço que ele queira que eu faça. Mas eu estou bem.
Any word from Aryananda? He's coming, or?
Alguém sabe alguma coisa sobre o Harinanda? Se ele está vindo, alguma coisa?
No? Okay.
I don't know.
Or Santa Maharaj, anything he said?
He didn't say anything.
Didn't say either. Okay. So Nalini has been doing a very good service in your absence, Radha Gopal. She's been translating
Jai, very nice.
into Portuguese or Spanish, one of them, or Hayananda and Srimati. Yes.
Very
humble.
nice, Jai.
Yes.
Very nice. One important service, Maharaj, that maybe Nalini can do is also make transcriptions of your darshans, so it can be published and also maybe written in some book or something like that. I know that Nalini has some facility to translate listening.
Oh, yes.
She already made lots of that.
Hare Krishna. I don't want to give any service to her, but if she likes to spontaneously take up some service, that will be her grace, her mercy.
Thank you. Yes, I would like.
Sorry, I forgot to translate. Sorry, I forgot how to translate. I'm sorry. Assim ele falou, se ele não está te dando nenhum serviço específico, mas se você quiser tomar esse serviço de maneira espontânea e fazer isso, será uma misericórdia para você e para os outros.
Yes, I would like. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. But anyhow, I have very simple things to say. I don't know how much they're qualified to be written down.
Maharaj falou, bem, eu tenho coisas simples que eu costumo falar. Não sei por que há tanta necessidade de escrever isso, mas bem.
So you will be going back to Navadvip or
Yes, Maharaj.
Nishringapali also?
No, our Mulamat.
Mulamat.
Acha.
Okay. You
Yes.
like to stay there?
I honestly, the mood is not proper there also, but I think that's the last improper mood that we find here.
Huh? What is that?
I would say that is not a proper mood, not of course in Srila Gurudeva, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Acharya Maharaj, or Sridhara Maharaj mood right now. There's a lot of tension in our Mulamat also, like a spirit of fight between the devotees, but we would say that's one of the least unfavorable places that we can stay right now.
I see. You feel more comfortable there.
Yes, yes, and also that is, you know, is one of your god brothers have made some very special commentaries also about you, Maharaj. That Sami Maharaj was telling also some things about you, very sweet. He was saying that usually our Vaishnava mission is like a golden mine. You have to learn to take the gold. And he said, Madhava Puri Maharaj is like that also. You have to learn to pick that. So it's what we are trying to do.
I see. Yes. Prabhupada told intelligence means to take the gold even from a pile of stool.
Yes.
Huh? So we have to use our intelligence, definitely.
Yes. The situation in India is very difficult right now in India. There is much ununion amongst all the mission. We just heard that some devotees from Bengal were not welcome in our mandir in Vrindavan today. Some sannyasis from Bengal. It's a terrible situation here. All is like, looks that's not one temple, maybe like groups, small groups fighting against each other. It's really bad, the situation here.
Who's in Vrindavan now taking charge?
Sandeep Prabhu and his wife.
I see. Which temple they are in charge of?
Govardhan and Vrindavan with
Oh,
the
both.
mission as
Both
yes,
of them.
SS Mat mission. Both temples began closed all day. The people is not getting inside. we tried to go to Govardhan Mandir, but the gates in Govardhan Puja was everything closed, no people inside. Really sad the situation. Really sad the situation also here.
I saw one day that Prapanna Tirtha Maharaj
Yes.
was there in Vrindavan. I think it was Vrindavan temple perhaps for Govardhan. You saw
Yes,
him?
I know that Prapanna Tirtha Maharaj has now a temple in Radhakunda.
Oh, I see.
He's living in Radhakunda now. And also I think that Tyagi Maharaj is also with him living there.
Ah, yes, I saw him also with beard.
Yes.
You went there also?
No, we have not time to went there because I got some allergic problems because the pollution is really big here in North India right
Oh,
now.
yes, yes. Especially in Delhi, no?
Yes. And Vrindavan also, Maharaj. Vrindavan is terrible, the pollution.
Oh,
It's very
very
sad to see.
difficult. Yes, that was-
Yes.
I saw
So
one picture also of the Yamuna with all white foam.
Yes.
And that people are bathing in that
Yes.
terrible thing.
Yes.
Very sad, very sad.
But the situation, Maharaj, is like that. As I told you, today we heard that Paramahansa Maharaj and other devotees from Bengal arrived in North India and asked a room to stay, I think, one night in the temple. And the manager here also said, no devotees allowed here. No devotees.
No devotees.
Only who, yes,
Who said that? Said that.
Sandeep. Sandeep.
And what does he allow there? Only asuras?
Yeah, it's a good answer. Yes, but unfortunately is that I think that maybe have something to learn. We have something to learn with that.
I see.
Some arrangements.
And what about Niriha Maharaj? Does
Sorry, Maharaj?
Does he allow Niriha Maharaj?
Yes.
He allows
He's there.
Niriha. Oh,
Yes.
I see. He likes Niriha Maharaj.
Yeah, it seems that Nirya Maharaj has some depressive behaviors, Maharaj. He stay locked in his room, just get out to eat something, and maybe like a short class, but get against through his room. He seems that he has some problems.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Krishna has his plan for everyone.
Yes.
We have to have a big test sometimes. We are tested very strongly, heavily. Where is our attention fixed? Huh?
Yes.
Where is our interest? What is our purpose? What purpose do we have? That we have to have that clear understanding. And to trust that Krishna is there. And he knows our intention. And he knows how to fulfill that perfectly. And sometimes necessary to purify our hearts. Because we have the wrong intention, the wrong purpose. So he's trying to benefit us by cleansing that from our heart. What is our purpose? Do you know your purpose?
Which is our proper service to Krishna by our guru. Maybe I have not capacity to one day think in Prayojan. I prefer to just think and make my service. Maybe one day Samanartha Nivriti can come. But I think that now I have not capacity to think so far away.
Krishna says, Mam Ekam. Mam Ekam Sharanam. Vraja. In the Bhagavad Gita, you know that verse? Yeah. Sarvadharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Ekam means single-minded. Single-mindedly. Ekam, only. So we have to have like that laser focus, you call it. You know? Do you know what a laser is? Huh? Do you know
Yes,
what
yes.
it is technically? Do you know
No, technically no, Maharaj.
Okay. When, light has different frequencies. All right. The short frequency is in the red area. High frequency is in the blue area. Blue light, higher frequency. Red light is lower frequency. And they have different, they go like a wave, huh? Sine wave, up and down. Peak and valley wave is like that. So a laser is when all the frequencies are the same. The light is a beam, right? Has many light beams in it. So the light beam is like that. And when all the frequencies are the same and all the waves are the same, and it's all harmonized like that, perfectly identical one to another, that's called laser. When light is like that, it can be very powerful. Cause a lot of damage.
Yes.
Generally,
It's like a
light.
Sankirtan.
Generally, light is all scattered. So many different frequencies, so many different waves. That's light. That's why on white light, you can find all the colors. And when you put it through a prism, all the colors come out. Laser does not like that. It has only one color, one frequency, and all the waves are waving together. That's laser. So to have laser focus means all of our other little desires, everything else, that is eliminated. And only one focus, one pointed attention is there. And then it can be very powerful. And our devotion can reach to Krishna's lotus feet because he tells us, Mam Ekam Sharanam, surrender to me only. To me only.
Maharaj, may I have a question for, let me please just translate to then I would like to make a question for you, Maharaj, if it's possible.
Okay.
I first translate what you said just now. Maharaj estava dizendo que sobre essa situação toda do que está acontecendo na Índia, talvez nós não tenhamos um entendimento claro, mas Krishna coloca essas coisas para acontecer porque ele conhece nossa intenção e ele sabe como nos satisfazer. E coloca isso muitas vezes para purificar o nosso coração, pois muitas ocasiões nós temos a intenção errada, mas ainda assim ele tenta nos beneficiar limpando o nosso coração. Se Krishna fala que Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, ter o foco de um laser. Ele perguntou, você sabe o que significa ter o foco de um laser? Tecnicamente, o que é um laser? Eu falei, não, se ele podia explicar. E ele explicou, a luz tem frequências diferentes, tem frequências mais baixas e frequências altas. A luz vermelha, ela possui frequências baixas, enquanto a luz azul, frequências altas. E todas essas frequências são como ondas mesmo, que tem pico e tem vale. Dessa maneira, o laser é quando todas as frequências estão harmonizadas, quando elas estão na mesma frequência. Então, elas estão mostrando só um espectro, só uma cor. Dessa maneira, é dito que na luz branca, ela possui todas as outras cores quando colocada sobre um prisma. Dessa maneira, o laser possui só uma intenção, como Mam Ekam Sharanavraja, Mam Ekam, somente a mim, eu, uniramificadamente. Então, esse foco de laser significa eliminar os nossos outros desejos, ter esse foco uniramificado. Daí a devoção pode ser forte, poderosa, e a devoção poderá chegar aos pés de Krishna. Maharaj, how would you explain Shri Krishna Sankirtanam? Not only Sankirtan, Shri Krishna Sankirtan.
People, devotee, has no ambition in this world. No ambition for any worldly accomplishment. Only one ambition he might have. His ambition is only to focus on Krishna, Mam Ekam, surrender to Krishna. No other ambition in this world, right? For name, for fame, even for spiritual progress or whatever you want to call it, yoga process, yoga progress. He doesn't want any of that. Money, women, followers, nothing. He doesn't want to find happiness in this world. That is focus. He only wants to serve, to have relationship with Krishna, serve Krishna and his devotees. But one ambition he may have in this world. He may have one ambition to bring all the fallen souls, all the souls, fallen, whoever they are, bring them in connection with Krishna. Let them realize that beautiful, that wonderful, sublime connection that he is trying to cultivate, or she is trying to cultivate. That one desire, and that is Sankirtan. That is the meaning of Sankirtan, to bring them all into the connection of Krishna. That same aspiration he has in his life, he wants to bring that to all. And it calls Krishna Sankirtan. Haribol.
Jai, thank you. Maharaj estava dizendo, o devoto não tem ambição neste mundo material. Ele não tem intenção de nenhum outro ganho material. A única coisa que ele tem é foco em Krishna. Mamekam. Não há ambição por nome, por fama, por progresso espiritual ou outras coisas. Nada disso. Dinheiro, mulheres, progresso, felicidade neste mundo material. Ele só quer servir o relacionamento com Krishna através de seus devotos. Mas ele pode ter uma ambição neste mundo, que é trazer todas as almas caídas para terem conexão com Krishna, para assim realizar o sublime que existe e cultivar. Isto é Sankirtan, trazer todos em conexão a Krishna, a mesma aspiração que ele tem. Isso é Krishna Sankirtan. Jai.
So how do we do that? How do we focus our attention? Well, first it requires Guru Dev, of course. Because how do we know? How can we understand Krishna in that way? Without Guru, how do we understand what is Krishna? Krishna is so big conception. Universal, infinite personality, no doubt. But Veda has given us a process, Guru Dev. And to accept Guru Dev as the representation of the infinite. The infinite, when it can come and touch the finite. And finite is difficult for the finite to grasp the infinite, but the infinite has no limitation. And he can come to the finite, and he comes in the form of the avatar, or he comes in the form of Gurudev, and he enacts his pastimes as guardian of the finite soul. Guru is actually the incarnation of Krishna in this world. His pastimes as Acharya, to enact his pastimes of Acharya. And not, that's how we should see Guru, as Krishna coming to have his pastimes as teacher for the finite soul. That's a very high vision. We can maybe at some point in our spiritual life understand that. But if we can understand also that he is the representation of Krishna, whatever, some special position we give to Guru. And as much as we can focus, concentrate our attention there as on Guru, we can make progress in understanding what is our relationship with Krishna. That's a Vedic process, a very concrete, tangible, practical process. Not that you have to think in some theoretical or abstract way that I'm serving Krishna, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Understand? Very practical, very concrete way. That Guru is there. How do I connect with Krishna? Through Guru. And that Guru is somehow or other directly connected with Krishna. And if I can't focus on service of Guru, like that, I am sadhana, that's sadhana bhakti, I am practicing how to actually focus my attention. How to come to that plane of Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. If I can surrender to Guru's will, I can surrender to Krishna's will. I am surrendering to Krishna's will. So this is the central importance in Vedic culture. The central thing. Don't think that it's, we accept Guru and then we do everything that we want in a arbitrary way. That won't help us make progress spiritually. We have to focus upon Guru and act according to his instruction, his will. And then we learn what is that Mam Ekam Sharanam meaning. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, Maharaj, may I translate to them? Maybe they have some question about that.
Okay.
Daí Maharaj falou, como que nós podemos focar nossa atenção dessa maneira de Mam Ekam? Primeiro, precisamos de Gurudeva, pois como poderíamos entender o infinito sem a sua ajuda? O infinito é tão grande, infinito, uma grande personalidade. Então, há um processo. Gurudeva. Aceitar Gurudeva como representante do infinito. O infinito que quer vir e chegar ao finito. Assim, o finito é limitado para chegar ao infinito. Porém, o infinito, por ser infinito, pode chegar ao finito. Seja na forma de avatar ou em de Gurudeva, que executa passatempos como o guardião das almas. O Guru pode ser visto dessa maneira como uma manifestação de Krishna neste mundo, como se Krishna viesse ter seus passatempos para ensinar. Talvez em algum ponto em nossa vida espiritual possamos ver isso, mas também podemos ver que é uma representação de Krishna. Assim, a posição especial do Guru. Ali, através disso, nós poderemos concentrar nossa atenção ali, no Guru. E assim nós poderemos fazer progresso e entender. Este é o processo védico, prático e concreto. Nada que tenha muitos conceitos abstratos, de eu estou fazendo isso ou aquilo. O Guru está ali, é assim que me conecto com Krishna. E talvez o Guru também esteja conectado com Krishna. Assim eu me foco em sadhana bhakti ao Guru. Com foco a minha atenção para um dia chegar neste plano de Mam Ekam, Sharanam Vraja. Essa é a importância central dos Vedas. Temos que aceitar o Guru, não do modo que queiramos. Isso não nos ajudará, mas sim temos que agir de modo coerente. Daí nós poderemos entender isto.
So this Vedic tradition of Gurudev and accepting Guru, that is a central point actually. I think we mentioned that too in our talks about in the Prapanna Jivanamrita book when we were reading this, the 6 limbs of surrender. We said that accepting the Lord as one's guardian is the most important. And that guardian, it means Guru. Accepting the Lord of guardian means accepting Guru. That is the central point of all surrender. Accepting the Lord as one's guardian. Not willing to live independently. Yes, Prabhu?
I have one question. Srila, Sridhara Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada, and also Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Acharya Maharaj were all very sweet and grand personalities. And they may have attracted people who wanted to associate with them because of that sweetness and grandness. But those people had no intention of surrendering to their actual will. They just had some taste of enjoying being around them because they're so sweet and grand. But I don't think that's the same thing as actually surrendering to what Guru is really presenting and saying.
Yeah.
So, did you ever observe like that?
No, actually, I was never looking for the faults in the other devotees. I always thought they were always very advanced, and that I was a very fallen soul. I am a very fallen soul. So I don't know. When I think about it, I realize that over time, so many went in different directions. Some stayed, some left, some went off in a different mutt or a different association, fighting one another like that. What does that all mean? I'm not sure. But one thing I know for sure, I think I'm very sure about, and that is, let us start from Govinda Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj. Well, first, Sridhara Maharaj, he told that Srila Govinda Maharaj was his successor. Now, some people accepted that, some people didn't accept that. Some people had doubts and so forth and so on. And I feel that is not following the will of Guru. If Srila's process, even though they may have some doubts, if Srila Maharaj said, Govinda Maharaj is my successor, then if we accept Srila Maharaj as Guru, we have to accept Srila Govinda Maharaj as Guru. And those who had questions about that and so forth, I can say that I exactly feel they are following the order of Guru, not completely surrendered, whatever reasons they may have had. May have been very strong reasons or whatever. But I may also have so many things in my mind about those things. Even under Srila Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, some things I questioned what they were saying. I didn't accept blindly. Sometimes I used to question, what does that mean? But in the end, I finally said, okay, this is what Guru said. I leave it to Krishna to judge. That I am feeling something, but I'm trying to follow Guru, then I leave that to Krishna, whatever he wants to see in that, but I want to try to follow the process. Anyhow, so he announced that Govinda Maharaj is successor. I accepted that fully. And then Govinda Maharaj said, Acharya Maharaj is successor. Again, I understood who Acharya Maharaj was, and I accepted what Govinda Maharaj said as his instruction, his will, and tried to deal with the situation, whatever my consideration of it, in a very faithful and loyal and humble way, following the instruction of Mahaprabhu. Not worrying about the consequences of being humble, tolerant, and giving respect to others. What are the consequences of that in the world or anywhere else? I didn't worry about that. That is Mahaprabhu's instruction. That is Govinda Maharaj's instruction. Follow it. That is our duty as disciples. That is our commitment to Gurudev. Those who have some problem with that, I cannot accept that they are surrendered to Gurudev in the same way I feel that one should be. And so I make some distinction on that basis. But I don't blame anyone or anything because I know how difficult it is. Very difficult to have that position. That single-mindedness and not thinking about anything else. A little simple-minded, in a simple-minded or simple-hearted way. To take that kind of idea as the only thing that I can definitely hold on to, as I can definitely make as my guiding principles in life. So this is the main thing. However great or small our Guru may be, if we have that single-minded thought, I am following Krishna's direction. I'm following Mahaprabhu's direction. And I want to, in this way, make progress toward that goal. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. That's my purpose. That's my goal. According to Bhagavad Gita and so forth. And let all other thoughts go by the wayside. Prabhu, that's a lot to say. Will you want to translate that?
No, it's everything right here.
Okay.
So, então, Maharaja estava dizendo, essa tradição da dedicação ao Guru é aceitar o Guru como ponto central em verdade. Nós falamos disso no Prapanna Jivanamrita como aceitar o Senhor como guardião. E aceitar o guardião significa o Guru. Isso é o ponto central da rendição. Não querer agir independentemente. Daí Krishna Keshava Prabhu perguntou, Srila Sridhara Maharaja, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charadeva Goswami Maharaj, eles eram pessoas muito doces e grandes personalidades. Dessa forma, atraíram muitas pessoas que queriam se associar com eles. Porém, eu vejo que essas pessoas tinham um certo desejo de estar perto dele por conta dessa doçura e, de certo modo, um certo desfrute. Será que pode falar alguma coisa sobre isso? Daí Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj respondeu, nós, de qualquer maneira, nós não buscamos falhas nos outros devotos. Eu sempre pensei que todos são grandes personalidades e eu sou muito caído. Então eu sei, mas penso sobre isso. E realizo que, com o tempo, muitos foram para diferentes direções. Alguns ficaram, outros saíram, outros tomaram associações diferentes. O que isso significa, eu não sei. Mas tem uma coisa que eu sei, e que isso ficou cada vez mais claro. É que Srila Govinda Maharaj, foi de Srila Sridhara Maharaj, disse que Govinda Maharaj era seu sucessor. Alguns devotos aceitaram isso. Dessa maneira, Srila Sridhara Maharaj disse que ele é o sucessor, então nós temos que aceitar ele como guru. Aqueles que tinham alguma dúvida com isso, sobre esta posição, seja pela razão que fosse, eles, de certo modo, não estavam seguindo a razão do guru. Eu também tinha muitas coisas pensando sobre isso. Teve um momento com Prabhupada, momentos que eu pensava, eu não aceitava cegamente, eu perguntava e questionava sobre algumas coisas. Então, depois que eu escutava a resposta, eu falava, bem, então eu deixo para Krishna julgar isso. Tento fazer isso seguindo o meu guru, o que quer que veja que está ali. Tento seguir, assim, o processo. Como, por exemplo, quando se declarou que Govinda Maharaj é o sucessor, e quando o Gurudeva disse que Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Gurudeva disse que Acharya Maharaj é o sucessor, entendi isso claramente em seu testamento, e dessa maneira pensei seguir as instruções dele, as instruções de Mahaprabhu. Ser respeitoso, ser humilde e dar honra para os outros, isso é a instrução de Mahaprabhu do nosso dever de como ser discípulos. Aqueles que têm algum problema com isso, eu não consigo aceitar estas pessoas de como estarem completamente rendidas como deveriam estar. Dessa maneira eu faço algumas distinções, porém eu não estou julgando, pois eu sei o quão é difícil estar numa posição de ter uma mente ramificada e um modo simples. Ter essa ideia. A única coisa que essa ideia é a única coisa como sigo como meu princípio guia da minha vida. Não importa se o guru é um guru grande ou se o guru pequeno. Eu estou seguindo as orientações de Krishna e de Mahaprabhu. E quero fazer progresso nesse sentido. Maharaj,
Yes.
may I a question that's an interesting point. Sometimes about that point, we have, not in our Sampradaya, of course, not in our line, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat line, I see in other lines. We see that one time the Guru proclaimed someone as his successor, but he changes after some time, after some more close contact with the disciple. We see this in other Gaudiyas also happen, Gaudiya Vaishnava. So how should we see this point? Because if we took that like jurisprudence, it creates some problems. Because you say that, okay, so we have at my vision, we have two different points. One point that the opinion of the Guru, that he say that's finish, and now forward doesn't matter if the conduct of the next Acharya will be proper or not. Just follow him. That's one way to think that. The other way is that this position that is left as successor is not something free. It's something that has some standards to be kept, to be maintained. It's something the empowerment that's given. But also when the Acharya see that the disciple is not following such conduct, such guideline of that sampradaya, that siddhanta, also it's taken back, this empowerment. How should be seen this, Maharaj? Can you talk about that, please?
Well, again, intelligence is necessary to see what is good, what is bad. Not blind. So we have to look carefully. I may see some defect in Acharya, something I don't agree with or I think is not exactly right or whatever, according to my understanding. But I recognize two things. One, I am imperfect, and two, Guru may also have some defect. But Prabhupada used to say the moon is very beneficial to all living creatures. It may have some pock marks on it, but it does not disqualify the moon from the helpful help it gives. So Guru may have some defect according to our vision, but it does not disqualify. If the defect is too big, then we may say that is disqualifying. But if it's small defect or whatever, any kind of defect, that doesn't disqualify him from being Guru. While Brahma is also would be disqualified in according to certain schools of Vaishnavism, because he tried to illusion Krishna. But we don't mind that. We take that as Krishna's past. To give a more human-like, real authentic-like relationship to everyone, we should have that authentic love, authentic respect for everyone. What do we care? I'm defective, you are defective, anyone is defective in some way. But as long as that is not the predominating character, then we can accept the good, that what good they can do, and try to help. Whatever I see, Acharya Maharaj was a very young, relatively young man. Now when he received that order from Govinda Maharaj. Even Govinda Maharaj was very inexperienced as Acharya. He was always so submissive and servant of Sridhara Maharaj. How did he know about being a guru, about directing others? But we see he learned also very nicely and was very sweet and convinced so many people how to how to come to Krishna consciousness. Acharya Maharaj also, despite his inexperience, as only he knew how to follow Govinda Maharaj, then he had to lead others. And he had a little trouble too. They did not like to follow. Sometimes he was too rough with his mood, and they rejected. But that's to be expected when we have someone thrust into that position. So we don't criticize them. We see their good quality, what service he rendered, how much he was doing, and whatever it was to correct, that would happen in time by Krishna's grace, and also our help. We don't say, "Oh, this person is no good because of this or because of that." We see what is the good, and along with what is not so good in our opinion, and recognizing how much we don't know and how much Krishna may have in store for everyone and what his plan is, and we try to abide by that. No, I think that is the intelligent way to proceed. So I'm going on that principle. I look at the things carefully, decide the good or the bad, and then decide what is the best way to follow to go to the highest, the most beneficial conclusion. I try to follow that. And beneficial means and bringing us to that single-minded dedication and surrender. Prabhu, it looks like you are suffering from the Delhi contamination. I feel so bad for you. I feel so bad for you.
I have some asthma, Maharaj. So in the pollution, I have some cough Sometimes I'm so short breath,
Yeah.
but that's normal. Also in Brazil, when I have to go to the metropolis in Brazil, it's the same thing like that. So let me translate, Maharaj. Assim, Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj estava falando. Eu perguntei a Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj que, de certo modo, existem ocasiões onde, não na nossa linha, mas em outras linhas, existe um posicionamento de um guru deixar um discípulo e depois mudar este discípulo. E como que nós vemos isso? Então, a posição do guru vai ser uma coisa somente fixa, independente do que vai acontecer depois, ou tem que ser analisado? Como devemos ver essa forma? Maharaj falou, temos que ter a inteligência de ver o que é bom e o que é ruim. Não devemos ser cegos. Temos que olhar atentamente. Eu posso ver defeito no acharya, não concordar com ele ou algo assim. Identifico estes defeitos. Srila Prabhupada costumava muito belamente dizer, a lua dá muito benefício, ilumina muito, mas ela tem marcas. E isso não faz com que ela seja desqualificada de sua função como lua. Dessa mesma maneira, o guru pode ter defeitos em nossa visão. Se o defeito é muito grande, claro, isso desqualifica ele. Mas se é um defeito pequeno, se fôssemos levar desta maneira, mesmo o senhor Brahma seria desqualificado, como é de fato em algumas escolas do Vaishnavismo. Mas nós vemos que isto aconteceu no caso do senhor Brahma, nos passatempos de Krishna, para dar este relacionamento mais humano. Assim, devemos ter esse amor autêntico. Não somos de característica dominatória. Devemos tentar ajudar. Quando eu vi Acharya Maharaj muito jovem, eu vi a ordem de Srila Govinda Maharaj. Mesmo Govinda Maharaj, no início, era tão experiente, ele era um servo tão humilde e tão submisso, tão qualificado servidor de Sridhara Maharaj. E com o tempo, eu vi ele aprendendo e convencendo tantas maneiras, tantas pessoas e trazendo-as para a consciência de Krishna. Assim como Acharya Maharaj, que no início também não tinha tanta experiência, ele era um grande servidor de Srila Govinda Maharaj. Muitas vezes ele tinha um humor muito duro e algumas coisas, mas isso pode ser esperado de uma pessoa dessa posição. Nós devemos ver as boas qualidades. Assim, devemos ver o bom. Eu não sei necessariamente o quanto que essa pessoa é boa ou não, o quanto ela é ruim ou não, o quanto é o plano do Senhor Krishna. Dessa maneira, devemos tentar seguir por isso. Eu sigo este princípio. Saber o que é bom e saber o que é ruim, e saber o que é elevado e vai trazer benefício. E tento seguir isso com uma devoção com a mente uniramificada. Jai Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. You have some water you can drink?
Yes. I took the anti-allergic maybe half hour ago, so it's not yet working. Maybe long soon.
You know, I take sometimes when I have a cough, I take something called Cepacol. Do you know Cepacol?
No.
CEP.
CEP.
Cepacol. COL. CEP. COL. Cepacol.
Yes.
It's a little drop, a little like candy drop,
Yes.
and it has very cooling effect on the throat, very calming effect.
Very nice.
Cepacol, and usually it's there in the pharmacy for over the counter, what they call OTC medicine. You don't need a prescription. Cepacol.
I try to look it for tomorrow, Maharaj. Thank you.
CHOL. CEPA CHOL.
Yes.
CEPA CHOL.
Yes.
It helps me when I have cough. Anyhow, then, oh, here it is. You can see it.
Jai. Yes.
It's backwards.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
So my first criterion when I consider who is good association is to see if they are following the most important guidance of Guru that has given us who is the next acharya. Now, so far as their defects are concerned, like I said, we have to compare that with the good parts. And if we can work with that in the good parts and try to help with overcoming whatever defects they have, then I think we can have a working relationship with those devotees. Then now, so Acharya Maharaj did not give any specific, express any specific, although I know we read some old letter that he actually wanted, in case he could not be, in the beginning when he was feeling a little bit uncertain of his health. In the beginning, he seems to have wanted that Tirtha Maharaj should be his successor. We read that. Very interesting. And I know Tirtha Maharaj for many years, and he's a wonderful Vaishnava. I love him very much. I know he's a good Vaishnava, and I would follow him anytime if he were actually selected. But anyhow, later on, he did not feel so confident about that. But he did not mention anyone other than that. And the whole thing about Niriha Maharaj. Niriha seems to be very humble, but I don't think he is ready to do any kind of leadership. Just doesn't have that potency, it seems to me, or the desire or the will to do that. And then who else is there among all the devotees? We have to look at what is their service. What have they been doing? Those who have already disobeyed the desire of Govinda Maharaj or not accepted that, I have to exclude them. And those who have accepted, among all those who have accepted, who is the most competent and most dedicated of all of them? And I know Shanta Maharaj for a long time also, most of his devotional life. And I know his defects and I know his good qualities. So then what we have seen mainly from what we have seen from our experience of him, he was always there with Acharya Maharaj and his preaching. So many things we can tell of his relationship and his dealings. And by my request, he would do all those things. I am responsible for telling him that you can please help Acharya Maharaj, but don't give up your preaching service to the scientists. And sometimes I know Acharya Maharaj was criticizing him for that, not following his desire, but always following my order or my request, and feeling that he was trying to do his own thing, but not really like that. He was always trying to do what I had requested him out of much affection and love we have for each other. And somehow Acharya Maharaj wanted to interpret that in his own way. Anyhow, that's not a problem for us. We were trying to help, genuinely trying to help in Acharya Maharaj's services and mission. So when Acharya Maharaj suddenly left our association, I did not have so much problem in understanding that if Shanta Maharaj was really wanting to help further the mission, that Krishna would help him, although he had nothing, although he had so many persons against him. Even so, if Krishna wanted him to be there, then I had confidence that that was the proper thing, and I would support him. Like that. That's how I make my decisions. That's how I came to my conclusion.
Maharaj, you said, I will translate, then I will make a question about you said, just to the girls have some context.
Okay.
Assim, Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaja está falando que o primeiro critério que ele se analisa, geralmente, neste caso, é ver se o guru está seguindo a guia, as instruções mais importantes que seu mestre deu do acharya anterior. Além disso, devemos comparar as partes boas e os defeitos e balancear isso. Se nós vermos que nós pudermos ajudar, então poderemos desenvolver um bom relacionamento. Por exemplo, Acharya Maharaj não deixou nenhum sucessor. Logo no início, 2011, quando Acharya Maharaj estava inseguro com a sua saúde, com as coisas, ele disse que deixaria Tirtha Maharaj. E eu conheço o Tirtha Maharaja há muitos anos. E ele é um excelente Vaishnava e certamente eu o seguiria onde for. Mas depois de alguns anos, Acharya Maharaj mudou. Houve toda essa situação problemática com Niriha Maharaj e ele me parece ser uma pessoa boa, mas eu acredito que não esteja pronto para fazer isso. Nós temos que julgar a pessoa por aquilo que ela está fazendo. Desta maneira, aquilo que ou as ordens do guru que ele está seguindo. Devemos ver quem é o mais dedicado a isso. Eu conheço Shanta Maharaj há muitos anos. Por toda a vida devocional dele, eu sei muito bem os defeitos dele, bem como as qualidades dele. E quando vejo do ponto de vista que eu tenho visto, pela minha experiência com ele, e por exemplo, eu vejo na pregação de Acharya Maharaj, eu me sinto responsável por isso, que foi a meu pedido, eu sou responsável de dizer a Shanta Maharaj para ajudar Acharya Maharaj, porém, não abandonar a pregação, a prédica aos cientistas. E Acharya Maharaj, em decorrência disso, creia que ele, Shanta Maharaj, estava com alguns interesses separados. E Acharya Maharaj acabou interpretando isso da maneira dele. Bem, de qualquer maneira, estávamos tentando ajudar Acharya Maharaj em sua missão. E quando Acharya Maharaj abandonou o corpo, então Shanta Maharaj foi chamado para isso, e é assim que eu fiz as minhas decisões. Maharaj,
Yes.
the question that I would like to ask you, if we see in any line or wherever, someone who bring many, I think that's an interesting point, Maharaj, before even my question, that's necessary to clear. Now we face a problem. I see that in India, really strong now. We have not so much a connection of guru, disciple, but more a connection of institution, disciple. The people come to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat not by the guru, but sometimes by the name of the institution. This, I think, that's problematic, that's happening also here. And in our case, we have Srila Sridhara Maharaj will, Srila Govinda Maharaj will. And as you always said, and also I was really surprised to hear of other devotees. I say other devotees, Mangal Maharaj, Paramahansa Maharaj, Sami Maharaj, and people who I will never think that I will hear that Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhara Maharaj were non-different. That now they say that, and they see that clearly now. There was no difference between both of them. It's like the stench of the same potency. In that way, we see a continuation of that. In Acharya Maharaj, of course, with some personality of Acharya Maharaj has a really rich personality. So, of course, with his mood, but also a continuation of that. But when you see something that's, in our case, one example, I'm not saying nothing, just one example, is creating some contradiction to the testament or the will of Sridhara Maharaj, some things that are explicit there, some concepts that he put there as his desire. How should we proceed? Should we judge that by the service that the person is doing by bringing many people to Krishna consciousness and forget about the uncare that the person is given to the will of the previous acharyas? How these two weights should be judged? The quantity of people and the quality of his preaching, or his adherence of the spiritual master teachings and our parampara teachings? How should be weighted that?
Well, what do you understand is the essence of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's teaching?
What I understand as the essence is a good question, Maharaj. I maybe have not capacity to that. Maybe you can explain to me.
First, that's the first thing that we have to have. A conception of the essence of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's teaching, because he is the founder of the Institute.
Yes.
So more important than the Institute, however, is the essence, not the form, but the essence. So what is the essence of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's teaching and mission?
You told last week.
What? What did I say last week?
I don't know, Maharaj.
No,
Maharaj,
Krishna
just-
Kesha was saying something. Okay, what is your question? What is your comment?
Last
Please, Krishna Keshava, give us some spoilers like that.
Okay, you talk.
About
about last week.
You said I said something about this last week?
Yeah, last week you specifically mentioned what is the central essence of Sridhara Maharaj's teachings.
What did I say?
You said
You said Radha Dasyam.
Okay. Okay. Then
Yes.
what do you want to say?
The point, Maharaj, one example. I was reading and reading again hundreds of thousands of times some things of Sridhara Maharaj from many books, trying to understand not the essence of that, because maybe one day I can have that high quality to understand the essence, but just to understand the borders of that essence. What's not the essence?
Okay.
I cannot understand the essence, but what's not the essence? And I see in Sridhara Maharaj will, Sridhara Maharaj Darshans, some very strong points, a strong adherence to the truth as it is. Not a subjective truth of that, but how can I say, an partial vision, a relative vision of the unrelative, the infinite. Not a relative vision of the relative, at least a vision trying to get the most closer than we can get, often a harmonization of the interest of the super subject. This one point. About other things in more management, more relationship, I think Srila Maharaj some great respect and great humility in his behavior, and his even Maharaj, my family has many advocates, so I have some contact with this language, advocate language, legal language. And even the statement of creation of our mat by Sridhara Maharaj seems like poetry. There is so many things that you can learn from there. When Srila Maharaj, one example, puts clearly there that you cannot, the acharya of the mission can remove his disciple if the disciple is not behaving properly, but he cannot remove his god brother without the communication with the trust board and deliberation. And other concepts, Maharaj, that honestly to me clearly lots, as Srila Maharaj also states, in case of an acharya does not left a successor, the procedure should be the sannyas in the mission who is making more prominency, we can say like that. If it's not available a sannyas in our mission, then any sannyas from any Gaudiya mat, he breaks completely the idea of institution and he defends the quality of devotion. Any sannyas who has that quality, doesn't matter the Gaudiya. And then he breaks again. Then Srila Maharaj say, if you cannot find an acharya and any sannyas, then a good grihastra, a good brahmana grihastra must be placed as acharya of our mat. And this is some things that it's registered in Krishna Anushilana Sangha registrement, that are some clear concept of Srila Maharaj. That's not the form, that's the essence. That's the most important part, I would say that. And when I see, I don't say my question is not necessarily by the essence only of Siddhanta, but also, let's say, of the practice of the institution, because the institution of Srila Maharaj is not just institution. That's his conception in a legal form, we can say like that, in a law form. It's not a normal institution, it's something beautiful. You can learn Alasa Darshan from him from that. It's really beautiful.
Yes. Well, the essence is not to be confused with the form. Bharbahi and Sargrahi. The bodily and the essence. So essence doesn't depend upon the institution. And as you say, anyone who has that essence is guru, who understands that essence. But what is the essence? That we have to understand also. And that's the most important thing. And then maybe they are qualified to have a good methodology or a good way of dealing with others or not. Doesn't matter. May not have a very nice way of dealing with others. Saraswati Thakur was a very lion guru. He was a very ferocious person. He didn't care for anything, anyone, really, as far as what they were thinking or what they were feeling. He said, if you want to follow properly, you have to do like this. And he criticized everyone. It was callous in a very amazing way, very indifferent. Sridhara told when he met Saraswati Thakur, this was the first quality he saw, how much indifferent he was to the whole thing. Although he was organizing such big organization, he was very indifferent to that type of thing. So that's one, how one deals, and not so much important as to what is the essence, which may require indifference. I mean, Krishna told Arjuna, kill everybody, kill them all. Don't worry about it. They're all going to die anyhow. What kind of mood is that? But he had something very important to tell him also. That you must all surrender to me. Anyhow, so essence, that is the thing that we have to look for.
And Maharaj, but the point, I was quoted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and I know that I have for many times much attraction to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, really because of that, his position. I have read some letters of all the letters from him, many things. And one quote from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that I think that make like a resume of him is that once when he was finishing his studies, and he make the translation of Surya Siddhanta, and he say, truth's truth, untruth will never be truth. That was his point. What's true is true. You should not compromise that, never, for any reason. That's that. What's pure must always be pure. This is very important. And I also talked with some Maharaj here about this point when I saw some contradictions on that behavior. And I saw some contradictions that worried me about some points of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, even some points of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. One thing that really, even I can tell a history about that I talked that with Acharya Maharaj, some of his disciples, many years ago, that one of the disciples of Acharya Maharaj was saying, Acharya Maharaj say that he's guru, so he's guru. Then they told him, Acharya Maharaj does not say that he's guru. And everybody now follow him because he's guru. No, Acharya Maharaj say that. Then I told to this disciple of Acharya Maharaj, I quoted actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but at the beginning I didn't told him that it was Bhaktisiddhanta. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta say, I have no disciples. I see all the people who you call my disciples as my guru. My guru manifests himself as all of these devotees to teach me. This is Mahabhagavat devotee, this high quality. And then I told him to this devotee, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati say, someone who claims himself guru should never be called guru. Someone who begs himself to the position and make like in position to be called that, it's not guru. And he quoted Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say that the natural tendency of the Acharya is that someone who look at him, only by look him, is already attracted to devotion. As Krishna Keshava said about Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Acharya Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Sridhara Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta, you Maharaj, many devotees, great personalities. You just listen, you feel inspiration. And it's not something, of course, it's also the cultural factor, as Krishna Keshava said, that's sweet, is like nectar in many ways. Of course, it's also that's pleasant, but not only that. Inside has some difference that take you and put in some inspiration. I don't know if that's the proper word, but some inspiration to follow that. It's like if to take your vision and try to put your vision in a proper way. So when we have this kind of Maharaj, how of distinctions that are not only some pro forma formal distinctions, how should we proceed? That's the main question that we have been talking here many times. I have talked to Shabagori, and I think that almost everyone is tired to hear that. Not here only, but I ask that for anyone.
Okay, well, you know, there's many factors involved in coming to Guru, and some very important ones is Sukriti. Not everyone can recognize Guru. Not everyone can recognize Krishna. In Krishna's Leela, when he came to the wrestling platform, not everyone saw him the same way. They all saw him in a different way. Not everyone saw him even as Krishna, as God. So that depends on us, on our Sukriti, our good merits, our good heart. What is the quality of our own heart?
Yes, Maharaj, but let me ask you one example. We have I will give an example, an imaginary example. We see all the characteristics of devotee, not same acharya, that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And we see all the characteristics that are not devotional. And you see that behavior, and is not a subjective factor, because not someone, is not only one people, is not one event, is a conglomerate of events that you see that quality that's unfavorable. And I came to the point, I was thinking, of course, there is this subjectivity. Of course, I can see only by my natural vision, will be only by myself and my defects. Of course, I know that. But I try also, we can always try in many occasions to try also to search the gold on that. But sometimes seems that the gold, it's not gold. It's maybe shiny like gold. But the quality is not so, it's also, of course, it's also pure, of course, but it's not that mineral. It's a different mineral. We see behaviors happening that, if my honesty, Gunda-like behaviors happening that really are unfavorable. And that's a point that we are talking and thinking a lot in already some time. How should you see that? If I see that only as Sukriti, yes, of course, I can see a Sukriti. I have not Sukriti to see the whole thing, of course, that's a major factor. But also need to be, as Shanta Maharaja always say, some discrimination, not discrimination, unfavorable discrimination, but some capacity to make the judgment of what's favorable, what's unfavorable.
Well, I know you know also how many people don't like Shanta Maharaj. They feel some unfavorable feelings with him.
Yes.
And there's some cause for that, no doubt. But again, we can only look at that side. That side may be there. But we have to look also at what he has done, what he is capable of. And that side is there. And these two sides must be judged together, not separately.
Yes, Maharaj, and that's the point. That's the point. How to weight these 2 points if they are, at least in my vision, Maharaj, being completely clear to you. I talked really with everybody in Navadvip. If everybody, we went to the whole temples, Maharaj. All other temples in India, we went. Literally, maybe not Puri, only we don't went in Puri. But all the other temples, we went there. I talked with Ranjit, Damodar, Samaharaj, Paramahansa Maharaj, even Tirtha Maharaj by contact with cell phone. If everybody we talked, Maharaj, and not superficial talking. Really trying to talk, to see the whole situation, to see this whole point of that. And in reality, they all say, one example, we are talking about Shanta Maharaj as an example, not that's anything. And they say, we at the beginning were really surprised with Shanta Maharaj. because he showed so much great qualities. But they also say, but with the time, some qualities that are not so favorable at our vision, they all said like that, Maharaj. It's not, I'm not in being ethical. I'm saying clearly what they said, that in our experience and our vision are not favorable, have become, and seems that that purity begins to have some antithesis happening, but not antithesis, some macula. I don't know how to say macula in one example.
Similarity?
Not similarity, something like some black dot on that, something that it was not from there, but it's arriving there. Some problem coming. That was the main point of all. One example, I completely honest, Maharaj. One example, I talked with Sami Maharaj, and Sami Maharaj say, I saw in Shanta Maharaj many great qualities, many great qualities. I was really surprised to see all that we saw there. I cannot believe what's happening. It was his commentary. He told me, if you do not show me a video of what's happening, some recordings of what's happened, I will not believe what's happening. I will say that some devotees are lying. So that's the point, Maharaj. I like Shanta Maharaj, being completely honest with you, Maharaj. I like Shanta Maharaj a lot. Really love him. I love him. He's very dear to me. But when I see some behaviors that my opinion are not so favorable, even that Siddhanta is there. The Siddhanta is there, so no doubt for that. But if some behaviors that in weight, I think that are not favorable. And that's problematic. I don't say, Maharaj, if we say that the devotees in India does not like Shanta Maharaj, it would be lying. To be honest with you, I talked with all of them with some big honesty, we can say like that. You know, even Ranjit, that's creating so much problem. I talked with him. If Damodar, that's also creating so much problem in the mission. We seated together, we sit in our mat gate and we talked. And it seems, Maharaj, that the main point in our problem in India actually is because everything is thinking on themselves and not in the mission of Mahaprabhu. Everybody's thinking on their own image. Ranjit Prabhu is thinking on his image. Let us say, who more? I see that so strong. Other devotees are thinking on other things that they judge that's the most important. Mangal Maharaj is worried with the management, with the organization of the mission. Sami Maharaj is worried with conception. Paramahansa Maharaj with wide preaching. Shanta Maharaj is worried with other things. He's worried with his image also. He always say that. And everyone is thinking on separate subjects. And everyone is fighting because no one is trying to see the main point. Or at least what, in my capacity, I can say that's the main point. I don't know. So it's a really sad situation, Maharaj, here in India. Well, honestly, it's a really sad situation because we came here with some idea to try to help. And we came to the conclusion that it must be desire of the Supreme Lord. There is no other explanation.
That is the main thing that I think that I have therefore I have no problem. I mean, I see Mahaprabhu is dancing. Sometimes his foot is pressing this head. Sometimes his foot is pressing that head. But that's part of his dance. So Mahaprabhu is dancing. Some heads will get the blessing, some heads will not. So I'm convinced that Mahaprabhu is controlling the whole thing. And so I'm at peace with what's going on. And I have some faith in Shanta Maharaj, and that what Shanta Maharaj is doing is being blessed by Krishna, by Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. Is my confidence and my peace.
Yes.
Also, whatever difficulties he may have personally or whatever, again, that's all a matter of vision.
Yes.
I don't know. My way I see things is like that.
Yes.
Krishna is in everything. Krishna is in everywhere. And so
Yes.
we cannot forget his role, his part that he is
Yes.
playing in everything. And there is where our focus should be. What role is Krishna trying to? What is Krishna trying to do? Not that he's abandoning us.
Yes.
Like I was like, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is so nasty for people who don't believe in him. He says, Avajananti mam mudha. If Avajananti, those who don't know that I'm the supreme, they're mudhas, they're asses. They are asura bhava masrita, they're asuras, the demons. Right? Why? Because they don't believe that I'm the supreme. If Krishna comes as Acharya, and the Acharya says, because nobody accepts my position as the manifestation of Krishna, he's perfectly justified to call them asses and demons and whatever he wants to call them, because they're not recognized. He's doing it to make them humble, to make them realize what is the Acharya. Acharya doesn't have to appeal to anyone. They have to appeal to him. And whatever you may find abusive in the Acharya, that is your defect, not
Yes,
his.
Maharaj. But acharya means that he has acharam.
His
That's
what?
the point.
Acharam?
Acharam.
Acharam.
Yes. If you
His
see
behavior.
that,
But who is
yes.
to tell? Who is to tell? Krishna is going with women in the night. He's
Yes,
stealing.
but
He's stealing from his friends. He's doing so many things. Then
yes,
what is a char?
yes, Maharaj. But
At a
that's the
higher
reason
level.
why I think that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote so much about Kartabhaja, the fake conception that the guru is the same of Krishna. He say guru is not Krishna, is not the predominator, is the predominate part. In that way, we should never try to judge the guru as Krishna, but yes, as a servant of the predominated.
Krishna says Acharya Mam Vijaya. We have to accept that. We have to accept that. And listen, when we understand something of the ultimate conclusion of bhakti, what it is we're trying to get, we will recognize the meaning of that and how important that is. But we have to know something about a little bit more advanced beyond that to understand why that's important. What is it that we're trying to reach? That's why I was saying essence. What Sridhara Maharaj was teaching and what Govinda Maharaj was teaching, I think they know the essence. Acharya Maharaj also, that the essence, what is that? What is that thing we're trying to reach? And there, these other things become accessories to that. Accessory, accessory. They become helpful things to reach that other thing. But if we don't understand that which we're trying to reach, then all these things may become problems. We think they are problems for us, when actually they are accessories to our final goal.
Yes. Yes, and that's the reason, Maharaj, why I say to you with my capacity, because my capacity now is so far away from bhakti. It's just about maybe to develop some kind of shraddha, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, to put my senses just to hear and try to approach my senses. And that's the reason, Maharaj, you said about Mam Acharyam. Also, in the Brahma Samhita, the first loka, Ishvara Parama Krishna sat-cit-ananda vigrahana diradir govinda sarvakarana karanam. Krishna is sat-cit-ananda. But that's not the reason that I say that Atman, that on accordance to our scripture, Atman is Krishna, is a particle of Krishna, is a Chincha Veda Veda Prakash. Keami, Jivera Shvaruparoi Krishnera Nityadasha, Krishnera Tatashta Shakti, Veda Veda Prakasha. This does not mean that he is Krishna, but he comes from, he's legate connected with Krishna. So that's the point of my question. The position of...
That's called the Chintya Beta Beta Tattva.
Yes.
Beta Beta means he's not different. He's different and he's not different at the same time. So what is that? What is that? How is that possible? And in what way is he the same? What way is he different? And let me explain. You want to understand? I'll tell you one very important thing. The essence that Sridhara is teaching us. The absolute is not dead. A living principle. Living principle. What does that mean? Always moving. So we are part of a living system. Organic whole. We are part of an organic, means everything is changing constantly. Therefore, when we say contradiction, means you are and you aren't. You are part of Krishna, the movement of Krishna, the life of Krishna. You are part of that. And therefore you're not different. Just like your nose is part of your body. But your nose is not your body. So it is, your nose is part of your body and is not your body. Your nose, when you say body, it includes your nose. So your nose is your body, but when you talk about your nose separately, it's not your body. Isn't it? Is it clear? It's not very simple, huh? When you say body, you mean include your nose. When you say nose, you don't include the body. But the nose is part of the body, is the body, therefore, but it is not the body at the same time. So everything is like that. Everything is contradictory. You can't say the Atma is not Krishna. It is. Krishna includes everything. So it is Krishna. But it's not Krishna when you consider it separately. So there's no, you can't say, that's why he says, Achintya Beda Beda. We got to understand this teaching. And the mantra, Pranam mantra to Govinda Maharaj, what does it say? Chintya, Chintya, Chintya. I mentioned there that he is expert in that conception. And I saw that in Govinda Maharaj. I saw that in his behavior. And I understood it by what he said, that he was in perfect realization of that principle. Achintya, Chintya Beda. And so this is some very essential point. We must come to recognize Chintya, Chintya Beda. Chintya, Chintya Beda Nipunam. What is the mantra for Govinda Maharaj again? Where it says that?
Guru Vabhishta Suprakam, no? Which one? Jaya Guru Deva Roti Jwala.
Gaurva Bhista Sapurakam.
This is the Prana mantra.
Sambhutam.
Chintya
Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam. So this is one of the essences that Sridhara is teaching. One of them.
Yes.
Very important one. And when we see anyone, whether it be yourself or anyone else, we have to recognize this principle is there. The Ahutamadikai won't see any defects anywhere. He sees Krishna everywhere. And he sees this Chintya, Chintya. How else he can see? He sees the Chintya, Chintya. He's not only thinking everything is Krishna. Or Krishna is Krishna. He sees Krishna as everything, but not that everything is Krishna. Krishna is everything, but not everything is Krishna. He can see like that. Then he doesn't find any problem with anyone, anything. If you can see that. The problems are also Krishna. And also Krishna's expression, way of expressing things. For whatever purpose he may have, not for our purpose. So there is something within the hearts of those who have that kind of vision, that they can see things properly. And they don't take the defects that people have as anything so important. It's part of the whole Leela, it's part of the whole story.
Yes, Maharaj.
And they have faith, and wait a minute, and they have faith that things will go on according to Krishna's plan, whatever they may be. Now, I have so I feel very bad for you that you don't have so much, they have so many doubts in your heart, and a very nice heart you have, but you're having so many doubts, and it makes me feel very bad that you're in that situation. But whatever Krishna has in store for you, I don't know. And I wish that you could come to a level of understanding that those things don't bother your heart so much, and you could get that peaceful vision that is there waiting for you.
Yes, Maharaj, honestly, the main thing is not some doubts that I have,
Okay.
but it's not a personal thing, but realization of how to act about this. Because when we say about Uttamadhikari vision, I remember one beautiful sloka from Srila Bhakti Yoga Thakur, he say, even the great asuras take the opportunity of staying with you, Krishna, but I'm here, dropped here. And that's the vision of devotees, Maharaj, like you, Srila Bhakti Yoga Thakur, Uttamadhikari's devotees. That's such high conception.
Yes.
But such holistic vision, even that it's so high, it's also not, how can we say, it's too detached of everything. And it maybe allow some, we can say, some Kali Yuga agents to act in Kali Yuga, because the devotee Uttamadhikari see the things as himself, as his vision, his subjective vision. He's pure. He can only see pureness. He just focus on Krishna. He can only see Krishna. And this is perfect. This is the perfect bhajan. I know that. That's the perfect vision. But when we say about preaching, when we say about bringing others to that, such vision maybe cannot be appropriated. It's not, even I remember Acharya Maharaj quoting, I think that was Srila Maharaj. It was in 2011, I guess. Acharya Maharaj saying, the devotee who wants to preach must never go up or to Uttamadhikari or come back from Uttamadhikari to Madhyamadhikari. Because otherwise, he will see everything under the control of Krishna. And I thought about that many years, Maharaj, many years. And in some way, if you think, of course, I have no realization, but I can think, you know. And if you think, everything is under the control of Krishna. Everyone, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, and some much Sahaja conceptions or somewhat Mayavadi say, no, it's not like that. In the last instance, everyone is serving Krishna. They desire that or not. Everyone is being attracted to Krishna. Sridhara Maharaj beautifully says, you are son of nectar. You tasted that nectar. You are searching for that. You search for that in Kama, Artha, Dharma, Moksha, but you are searching for that nectar. You know the taste. You try to find it again. So in that way, of course, everyone is devoted of Krishna. Everyone is devoted, finding Krishna, is being attracted to him. He's the center of all attraction, aesthetical attraction. But the point is, when we come to a lower vision, how to proceed, how to harmonize, I think that maybe, I don't know, it's necessary some sacrifice for that, some sacrifice of such high vision. If someone keeps such high vision, many living entities, of course, if someone has this high vision, he will not see a sacrifice because he sees that Krishna is under the control and the people will be attracted by Sukriti in the right moment. I know that. But the point, when we see from a lower standard, we also see that it's not the quickest, maybe the optimal or the preaching incentive form, that vision. It can create so much bias, it can create so much problem, you know? Of course, it's the proper vision to bhajan, but I cannot even one day cogitate myself in such position, because if I do that, I will be contradictory to myself. And myself is not more important. My bhajan is not more important. My archa, not bhajan, I'm not making bhajan. I'm just trying to make one day, maybe sing the holy names. But it's more important to preach this mood of Mahaprabhu. This attracts so much. Jana Vitata Vani Jagamana Loba, who attracts the minds of all the world to that place around the Jana. That beautiful thing. Kivashivashu Kanarada Premegada Gada, that even Lord Brahma and Shiva are embargoed with such devotion, such high devotion. I cannot, I as a personal think, Maharaj, not maybe something of doubt, but something for stand. I cannot honestly think that's more available by myself, even try to see on that way. Because if I see on that way, it may be not so prolific to preaching, even though that maybe is not the desire of Krishna, but I should try. If Krishna does not want, it will not happen.
I think you are a very young man, and you are making progress in spiritual life. You're at a certain place now in your development, and that at that stage, I think my own opinion is you will try to make so many adjustments of this world, huh? You're trying to correct so many things that you see are not so proper, and they're very nice. But there is a higher stage where we don't, where we realize I'm trying so hard to make so many things proper, and I'm not succeeding. And then when we feel like that terribly, fail, then we realize it's not in my hands. That it's always never been in my hands, and it's always been in his hands. It's always been in Krishna's hands. So sometimes we feel we can do so many things, but then when we recognize after trying all those things that it's never been successful, and we never can change anything because it's too big, too much. So then we have to realize, well, why am I trying to take Krishna's position? He is there. He is there, and he's controlling everything. And I will just accept whatever he arranges. I'll accept that his arrangement, his control, his responsibility. And we may feel that I'm neglecting some duty. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadhamam Parita, give up all these duties. Don't worry. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vrajam. Aham Tvam Sarva Papiva. I will accept whatever reactions come from that. Neglect of your duty. I will accept. And Aham Sarva, what is that? Mam Ekam Sharanam Vrajam. Aham Tvam Sarva Papiva Moksha Shyame Mata. And I will give you freedom. Don't worry. Masucha. You're worrying so much. Don't worry so much. You just submit to me. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry. I'm taking care of it all the time. You're in some kind of a illusory state where you think you have to take care of everything. But it's not your responsibility. It's my responsibility. And your only responsibility is to submit, surrender to me. That's all I'm asking you. You don't have to worry about all these things. You just have to surrender to me. I'm already in charge of everything. And I'm arranging all these things. And it's Maya that has captured you to make you think that you are somehow in charge, ahankar, that you are doing it all.
Yes, Maharaj, the way that I said is not that I think that it can change something or not change something. It's not the point of change. Maharaj, when I was young, I took initiation really young, so I got involved in some devotional things young. So when I was maybe 12 years, maybe Srimad remembered that time, I saw many wrong things in the mission in Brazil, Maharaj. I saw sannyasis making terrible things and all of that. And for a long time, I have many discussions. I put myself to talk with many people. Why are you doing that? You should not do that. And the people don't even believe in that time that what was me. Some sannyas say once that it was my father using my account of email to talk. And with many time, I understood, of course, it's not for me to that. It's under the control of the Lord. Yes, of course that. But also, when I see Srila Sridhara Maharaj saying that we must stand for that higher conception, we should not accept nothing that's not pure. We should be attached to the supreme truth, true and not that. And not only that, giving respect, honor to the others without expecting, but giving honor in the proper way. That's a point. Give respect in the proper way, not so much, not so little.
It doesn't say that. Mahaprabhu never said that.
Yes, Srila Govinda Maharaj say.
I know they tell that. That's not what Mahaprabhu said.
Yes, but Maharaj, but
Wait a
even you
minute, wait a
say.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yes.
That's not what Mahaprabhu said, right? Mahaprabhu says, Amanina Mandadena, finished. It doesn't add any qualifications to that.
Yes.
Be humbler than grass, more tolerant than tree, humbler than grass, not only grass, humbler than
Yes.
grass, more tolerant than the tree, give respect to others, don't expect respect. That's all, period. That's what
Yes,
Mahaprabhu
given.
told.
Yes.
Now, wait a minute,
and
wait a minute, wait a minute. Huh?
Of course.
Can you do that?
Of course not.
Of course
Of course not.
Okay, so this is the problem. Don't worry about who deserves, who doesn't deserve it. That's another qualification. Yes,
No,
it's also
Maharaj,
important. Also
not
important.
deserving. Not deserving. Sorry, it's not what I want to say. It's not deserving or not deserving. Everybody must deserve that. It's not a question of deserving. But it's not to say the true in an overestimated vision. And I don't know how to say in English, when you amplify the true, it's like maximization of the true. That becomes like hyperbolis. I don't know how to say in English, like hyperbolis, I don't know, an exaggeration. Or to say that in a way that minimize. Just say how it is. The things how it's happened. And I remember that's the point that I was going to say. And I remember Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so many great acharyas, not so only the great acharyas, so much great devotees, so much sadhakas, so much people always defend for the true conception, the maintenance of the true conception, the true acharya, not some bogus idea getting on that. So that's, I think that's the point. We saw by an example, by Acharam, of so many great souls, so many great personalities protecting as it is, as Srila Prabhupada beautifully put in his Bhagavad Gita, as it is.
And yet there's a deeper truth.
Yes. Yes, I know, that's a problem.
That's not a problem. That's wonderful.
Yes, it's infinite.
Everything should be seen like that. Everything should be seen like that. There's always a deeper, and dive deep into reality. And so that's why the essence is so important. What is that reality we're driving into? What is that we're seeking? And even then we can't reach it. But anyhow, what is that proper direction we have to keep going in? And let me tell you from my own realization, that if we follow Mahaprabhu's instruction without discrimination, to give respect to others and not expect it in ourselves, that will help you so much to make progress, because there is always a deeper thing to everyone. Whatever defect they may have, whatever they may have, good quality, bad quality, there's always deeper than that. Also, our understanding is only superficial. So, as far as I am concerned, when I speak of the essence of Sripad, Srila Maharaj's teachings, I look at that book, Subjective Evolution, as one very important thing that he's telling, a subjective evolution of consciousness. We are all at a particular level of consciousness, but that level of consciousness is evolving. It's changing, and the whole thing rests on that. We are when we see the world in a particular way, we're at a particular level of consciousness. And that level can change. And when that level of consciousness changes, the whole thing changes. The whole world looks different. We don't even see the world anymore. That's possible. We won't even see the world. We'll see everything inside my own consciousness. That is my consciousness, not even my consciousness. That consciousness is a shared quality, a shared substance. That is not only mine. That the whole world is a expression of consciousness. Whose consciousness? Not mine, not yours. That's Krishna's. But we're living in that. Somehow all these things can change immediately at a heartbeat. So don't be so attached to the consciousness you presently have. That will change. You see? It will also change. But an important element in that change is who we're associating with. And I'm just trying to point out certain things that I use as indicators of who to associate with and how I choose those things. And I find that to be very valuable, to be helpful to me. That's all. And I hope that it could be of some use to you also, if you could think about it a little bit. And let's see what happens. I don't know. Like I said, I don't put everything in my own hands. I know I need a lot of help. In fact, all the help that's coming from Krishna, and whatever happens is His grace, His mercy on me, not my. I'm not the cause of it. I don't feel that at all. I'm just waiting, waiting and seeing what Krishna is going to drop in my lap next.
Yes.
Uh,
Maharaj, may I make one last quickly question?
Okay.
How someone can know if the consciousness is changing or it's faking a change of consciousness? Because the mind is so trick. The mind always wants to enjoy devotion. The mind always wants to get some fake idea of evolution. Always wants. It's impossible to know.
Well, once we understand, I think, what is eternal, then we can know what is real. What is eternal? Where does eternality lie?
But
There we
it's
find the eternal. There we find the truth. Once that, let's, Krishna has to give us some indication of what's going on. So whatever indication he gives us, this is one thing that I look for. What is eternal? And it's a very tricky question, because the eternal is not something that stands still.
Yes.
The eternal is something that's always changing.
Yes.
Always changing. That's the eternal.
Yes.
And not something that stands still. So then we have to see what is always changing, yet always remains the same. A riddle. No, you go to the Sphinx and you ask him, and he gives you a riddle. What is eternal? What is always changing and always remaining the same? What is that?
Yes, a great question, Maharaj. What's that?
What is it? What is your answer?
Please tell me. You know, you just remember something that I for many years meditate upon, and you just say the same thing, that the Ishopanishad, Tada Jati Tanajati, Taduretan Vantike, Tadam Tarasya. Same question.
Yes. What is that?
Please, Maharaj, tell me.
You don't know.
Maybe I know, but
Well, tell me what
not.
you think. What you think you know.
The nature of the soul as a servant of Krishna, the nature of Krishna being the supreme enjoyer.
That's always the same, and always changing.
The dynamics of his lila, his desire, him. Even him, that's the point. That's the problematic point for the mind, because the mind cannot reach it. It's the point that the mind cannot work on that, because it's infinite, and it keeping getting more infinite.
Well, I think it's more concrete than that. It didn't make it impossible for us to have a relationship with him. You think he made it impossible for us ever to have a relationship? No, I think we can have a relationship with him all the time. That's what realization means.
Yes.
Anyhow, my idea, what I've realized, you can say, and that's coming from reading certain philosophy and things like that, and experience and whatever. I don't know. It comes from a whole bunch of things, but ultimately from Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
But my understanding is that the eternal is the present.
Yes. Yes.
From the moment we were born till now, the present has always been with us.
Yes.
It's always with us. And we are nothing without, we're not in the present. The present is where we are.
Yes, yes, yes.
But the present never stands still.
Yes.
The present doesn't stand still.
Yes.
Constantly, it is and is not at the same time. It is and is not.
Yes. It being the soul, infinite, eternal, it cannot be other thing other than present. Yes.
It's
Yes.
absolute negativity, you can call it, or absolute motion, absolute living. That is the living principle. And we are in touch with that always.
Yes.
And in Krishna consciousness, when Krishna consciousness, that present means the presence of the Lord and the presence of his life, the presence of his Leela, everything is there. Mhm. And we can't lose track of that. We start
Yes.
planning for the future. We start thinking, oh, it should be like this, it ought to be like that. But that takes us away into a mental world that doesn't belong there. That's not our world. Not what we are meant for. Mam Ekam Sharanam.
Yes.
There should be a one pointedness, a one thing. And there is the main thing, I think, presentness, the present. Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all. But act with times that are with thee, in progress thee shall call. Bhakti
Yes.
Vinod gave this advice. Act with times that are with thee. Yeah? And don't make a plan. Don't have any concern about the future.
Yes.
Your business is to think of Krishna right now, to see his connection, how he is acting, how everything is going on by his will, as the cause of all causes. Sarva karana karana.
Yes.
And don't blame anybody for what they're doing. It's not their fault.
Yes.
Krishna doesn't see like that. We see like that, and we create our own problem. So these kind of things, we have to find someone will help us think like this, and keep our mind, keep our hearts and minds focused. That's why the Guru, Sadhu, Vaishnava, they are important to us because they have that kind of vision. They want to encourage us to do the other things. Depending on who you associate with, they may encourage you to do so many other things.
Yes, of course.
But that's bad. That we don't want. Don't look for those
Yes.
kind of association.
Yes.
Good association, things like this. I always focused on those higher things. That's what I see. The value of Sridhar Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, and Acharya Maharaj. He was trying that also.
Yes.
Whatever else was going on, not the main things that we should be focused on. So, Gauranga,
Yes.
by the grace of Mahaprabhu, by the grace of our Guru Parampara, Guru Varga, we may understand these things better and better, and try to move our attention in that direction. That's a whole that I see as the most important thing that we have to be looking for. Don't get it so much confused and this and that and the other thing. It's so hard to live that type of life for the whole heart, for the mind, and the heart also. When it's so simple and sublime, that's all you have to come to, that simple and sublime truth of what's really going on. And that comes to us by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. It will come to us. Then we are blessed. Then we are blessed when we can come to that understanding, come to that realization. There's the direction you want to move in. And try whatever you can do, whatever your efforts are, that should be made to go in that direction. And it means that you must be very conscious of what Mahaprabhu is saying, what Guru is saying, what the scriptures are saying. And not to, you can't reach that place by neglecting those things,
Yes.
but try to follow them simply. Don't get so caught up in the, but if this happens or that happens. Mahaprabhu said, respect everyone, do it. What harm will ever come to you? Doesn't
Yes,
mean
of
you
course.
have to follow everything everybody says, but you respect them, whatever they say. I may not understand what they're saying or what direction to go to, but I can respect them even if they are different from me or whatever. I can love them, whatever their faults may be, because I'm trying to develop that higher vision. That's my only prospect and my only goal. to develop that higher vision, that Krishna consciousness, perfect Krishna consciousness, where I don't forget him at any minute, at any moment.
Yes.
And see his business everywhere is going on.
Yes.
Difficult? Is it difficult? In a way, yes, just to untangle ourselves from all these other things we have to spend with these days. In that way, it's difficult, but otherwise, who could ask for something more simple than that?
Yes. Yes.
Anyhow.
It's so simple that's difficult.
What did you want to say? Krishna Keshu has been dying to ask a question or say something. I don't know. What do you want to say?
About the inconceivable qualities of the Vaishnavas, I was just going to point out the example of Sri Pundarik Vijayanidhi. He was laying on big, comfortable beds, smoking hookah all day, and Gadadhar Pandit took his lotus feet on his head as Guru Maharaj. Yeah. That was the sincere position of Pundarik Vijayanidhi, and he was the Guru Maharaj of Gadadhar Pandit.
Yeah, so not by external behavior, but by internal realization. Huh? So I cannot understand a devotee. Nityananda Prabhu would come out naked, stand naked in the public. And Mahaprabhu said, no, he is not. You don't judge him badly. They're not exhibitionist. Yeah, take his copan and wear it on your head. Around your neck or whatever. So like that. Guru Maharaj also told if Nityananda is seen in the pub and the liquor store and the liquor bar, whatever they call that place, then don't criticize him. Even his womanizing in the liquor store, you still cannot judge him badly. So what kind of vision is that? Don't judge by the book from the cover. Anyhow, all those examples are there. Try to convince yourself on that side. Don't try to convince yourself. But what about this? What about that? What about this? Those are not the important things. Try to find the essence. Sargrahi. You know, Bhakti Vinod told. Sargrahi and Barbahi. You know the difference? Sargrahi is the essence seeker. Barbahi is the garbage seekers. The form seekers. Anyhow, yeah, very good. The important conversation we are having here. And I'm praying that we can all understand nicely. Krishna will give his blessings to all of us. And we will see that everything is okay. Everything is going on according to his plan. We don't have to make so many worries, but we just have to put ourselves in a place where we can get good association and not association who will distract us in so many different ways. That's how we decide good association and bad association. Who is distracting us from our goal? Who is attracting us toward our goal?
Jai Maharaj, thank you so much.
Horrible.
I saw that Nalini was translating, so I didn't translate. I saw her
Yes,
lips.
I saw her moving her lips also. So kind.
Yes.
Giving Srimati some understanding of what's going on. Beautiful how Krishna is working everything out. Right? What? What do you want? You're looking at me.
I want to chant Damodarastakam.
Okay. What time is it? No, 3 o'clock already. We're talking a long time on these topics. Very nice.
10 minutes.
All right. Any other question, Prabhu?
No, Maharaj, you stop here so we sing Damodarashtaka.
Okay. We haven't seen you in such a long time, so we had to discuss a lot today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then Damodarastakam. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Sripad Srila Santa Maharaj ki Jai. Jai. Giri Govardhana ki Jai. Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinda ki Jai. Jai. All glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees. Jai Go Prem Anandi Hari 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 Bol. Jai. Holy names of the Lord ki Jai. Namam Ishwaram sat-cit-ananda rupam lasat kundalam gokure brahmanam.
Namam Ishwaram Sat-cit-ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam
Yasodabiyolukaladavamanam param vishtamatyan tato dhutya.
Yashodabiyolukala Davamanam Param Vrishtamathyanta Todrutya Gopya
Rudantam muhurnetra yugmam rijantam karamboja yugmena santakanetram.
Udantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Jantam Karam Bhojayugmena Satankanetram
Muhu swasakam patirekakanta stita graivam damodaram bhaktivadam.
Muhu Spasakam Patrire Kankakanta Sita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktivadam
Iti driksvalila virananda kunde swagosham nivajantam akyapayantam.
Iti Driksalilapir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam
Tadiyeshita geshu bhaktarjitatvam puna prematastam satavritti vande.
Tadiyeshita Gyeshu Bhaktarchitatvam Puna Prematastam Sata Vrittivande
Bharam deva moksham na mokshavadimba na chanyam praneham varishadapiha.
Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadimba Nachanyam Vrineham Varisharapiha
Idam teva purnata gopala balam sadame manasya virastam kimanyai.
Idanteva Purnata Gopala Bhalam Sarame Manasya Virastam Kimanyai
Idam te mukambojam atyanta nilayar Ritam kuntalai siddharatai sagopya.
Idante mukam bojam avyakanilar Tatam kuntalai sniktaraktaischa gopya
Muhushchumbitam bimba rakadaram me manasya virastam alam laksham bhai.
Muhushchumbitam bimba raktadaram me Manasya virastam kim alam lakshalabai
Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdimagnam
Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prashida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magnam
Kripa Drishti Vishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihani Shamamagyam Edyakshidrishya
Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihane Shamamacham Edyakshi Drishya
Kuveratmajo Bhada Motyai Vayadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritoja
Kuverat Madhobata Mrityai Vyadva Jaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha
Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakam Me Prayacha Namokshe Graho Me Sridhamodariha
Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Me Sitamodareha
Namaste Sudamne Spuradiptidamne Tvadiyodarayata Vishvasya Damne
Namaste Sudhamne Spura Diptidhamne Svadiyodarayata Vishvasya Dhamne
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jai Gaura Hari Bo Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Saridev, Srila Santa Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai,
Jai Srimati Devi ki Jai, Jai Nalini
Jai,
Devi ki Jai, Jai Krishna
Jai,
Kesara Prabhu ki Jai, Jai Jai Gopal Prabhu ki Jai,
Jai.
Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Haribo. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
Yeah. So Maharaj, take care of you.
I take care of me, thank you. You take care of you too. And Shamaguri, tell her we send her our love and
Yes.
Dhanavats. And
Yes, I sent to her.
hope to see you again soon. And have
Sure.
a safe travel, get out of Delhi as soon as possible.
Yes. Is our intention. But we only got train, only available train, Maharaj, 16. So we have more 2 days here.
Oh, I see. Okay, be careful. Wear a mask or something so that you don't get all
Yes.
that pollution in your
We are
nose.
like, we are like, you know, I don't know how it's called in English, but you people put the fish inside with glass.
Oh, fish
Aquarium.
tank. Oh, do you have
Fish
air
tank.
conditioning? You have
Yeah,
air
we are in a fish tank, closed
Are you-
like
you have
that.
air
Window.
air conditioning there?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. That will help.
Yes.
Help to purify the air, air purifier.
Yes.
Okay, looks like a beautiful day there in Brazil. You're having a nice sunny day. Huh?
Vocês estão tendo um dia de sol aí no Brasil?
Yes.
Gee.
Mas tá esfriando, né?
It's beautiful but cold.
Oh, cold. Yes. Oh, yeah. Also getting cold here too.
Yes.
Autumn season. Soon the winter will be here.
Yeah, in Brazil should be coming the summer, but the weather in Brazil seems that's completely crazy now.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. South of the equator.
Yes.
Different, yes, opposite up here.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhakti Prabhu's, for coming, by giving your association to me. My Dandavat Pranam. Please be well.
You too, Maharaj. Take care. Krishna Keshava
Dandavat
also.
Pranam.
Take care of you.
Dhanavat
Dandavat.
Pranam to everybody. Dhanavat to Shamaguri Didi, yes, also. Jadagopal Prabhu, Nalini Didi, and Shumati Didi. Dhanavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.